The last one I think it's maybe worth talking about, well, we still got a little bit of time, is let's talk about influencers, because I know that's a huge part of your guys' overall business. So just talk a little bit about how that business has evolved, how important it is, and how to do it effectively for PC and possibly marketers in 2023 and 2024.
Yeah, I think this is one where I kind of wish there was a better answer than this, but the answer is it hasn't actually changed that much. People are getting better at it, but there's a lot of things that when you read 5 news trends in influencer marketing, read a bunch of those ones that came out in 2024 and they're the same ones from 2018. Micro influencers, more performance deals, less focus on top 10 or whatever. And it's sure, but none of that is really necessarily proven out to be the case. The supply and demand, which I would have imagined a few years ago would have flipped, hasn't. It's still roughly the same. Top content creators are still in wild demand. They are still getting 50 to 100 deals a week that they are turning 80 to 95% of them down. Getting in front of those creators, getting them to play your game and talk about your game is hard and expensive, and that hasn't changed. The willingness to take performance-driven deals has not changed. In that
it's extremely low.
That is extremely low, and sort of fine at some very, very small scale you can do it, but no one has done it scalably ever. So that's at least in gaming. So that is all challenging. I think what has changed is call it best practices have become more accepted. So 5 years ago, we would have told everyone the same thing, which is don't write a script, give it to a creator and expect them to read it and have a good piece of influencer marketing.
Right.
That has never happened and it never will happen. That's not what makes influencer marketing successful. 5 years ago, I don't know, 50% of call them AAA game companies didn't care and wanted to do that. I would say now it's probably 10%. It's not zero, but it's probably not close to 50 either. So yeah, 10 to 20% maybe. So some of those best practicey things are now more industry standard than they were. Even more tactical stuff like usage rights. Again, 5 years ago, probably 50% of AAA game companies would put insane things in contracts. We have indefinite usage rights for your likeness for anything we ever want to use it for. Insane. No reasonable person should ever sign an agreement that says that. 50% of game companies, AAA game companies, probably tried to get that term in 5 years ago. Now that's probably 10. So it has gotten better, more sophisticated. Certainly the data that we use, sort of like Gamesight, but I think the data that the industry broadly uses is also moved in the right direction. Less focus on things like follower counts and more focus on things like audience reach for games like mine, my game genre, my competitors, things like that go into buying decisions and work decisions. So I would say the industry is broadly moving in the right direction, but it's not new. It's mostly the same stuff that was true a few years ago that is just more true now and more accepted now than it was then, where maybe that was the idea of working with 100 mid-tier content creators 5 years ago was no one was doing that. And now people are doing that. So maybe not the sexiest answer, but probably my best answer.
Yeah. And you guys are a lot closer. We dabble, and some of our partners will dabble in aspects of working with KOLs or influencers, content creators, call it what you will. But one general trend I've seen, and please correct me if you think this off base, is the industry is sort of better learning how to apply concepts and theories from performance paid advertising to influencer, even though it's not one-to-one. So I'll give an example, kind of restating something you just said, Adam, which is looking beyond just follower count. When we're doing performance buying, you're never well, just buy from the biggest app possible or the biggest website possible. But I feel in the early days of influencer, there would be pushback if there was a proposal where it's well, I've never heard of any of these people. Why would we want to work with them? We want to work with the big names. And I think what I see teams start to realize is, in the same principles as performance media buying, what is the eCPM? What is the cost of the impression or the eyeball? And what is the relevance of each impression? It's not one-to-one, and we can't measure it as exact as we do in performance media buying. But that's something that at least the teams we work with, we see that mindset starting to be applied, and them getting why we might recommend, we don't need to work with these large Twitch streamers for a given project. These are more people in your micro niche. They're smaller Twitter accounts, but they have exactly the following you want, and their cost is right for what we get from them. I'm projecting a bit, but that's a trend I see. Would you guys say that the industry is evolving that way?
Yeah, I would say, I think the actual reason, which we'll just explain it a little better, is 10 years ago, I'd say influencer marketing in games was broadly a PR function, right? It was, at least at big AAA, was they might have had people who were used to deal with celebrities, and then they're I guess we treat these people like celebrities. Or they said like these content creators are like more like press. They're doing reviews of our games. Let's treat them like press. And so it was this PR function. And you can imagine that PR is not full of performance marketing people. That shift from it being a PR function to what it is now. And I think at the best companies, like the most sophisticated sort of influencer companies, it's its own discipline. Influencer is its own discipline, and it borrows from PR, it borrows from community, and it borrows from marketing. I can usually tell how sophisticated a company is in their sort of influencer marketing capabilities by like where that division sits in the organization. If it sits in the PR org versus sits under marketing or sits under community, it can kind of tell you. I think that kind of explains the phenomenon you're seeing, Warren, which is, if you took a person with 5 years of mobile app UA experience and said, you're now in charge of influencer marketing, well, they're going to do all of the things you said. They're going to quickly learn the data that matters, the data that doesn't, what drives performance, what doesn't, whether there's like perfect measurement, which there's not. As a measurement company, we do a ton of measurement for influencer. It's not perfect. You don't have one-to-one click-through, view-through tracking on every single Twitch stream or YouTube video. So you're having to extrapolate from the data that you do have and the deterministic attribution and the lift and all the other things that you can do to kind of understand what's effective. Learning from that and saying, okay, well, these are the types of deals we do that actually drive value, and these are the ones that don't. These are the type of creators that drive value, and these are the ones that don't. Those things come from people with more historically performance, marketing backgrounds where they have that discipline, they have that experience, and their brain works that way. It happens more infrequently when it's a community manager than used to managing a community of thousands or hundreds of thousands of gamers, and now they're also managing all of the influencers. That they're not going to necessarily treat it with the same level of analytical rigor. So I do think that we're seeing more and more influencer stuff be housed under marketing, and I think when that happens, you get more performance, you get more data, you get more analytical rigor.
Awesome. Well, we're getting just about to time, but before I go, I want to hit you with a question that wasn't on the outline. I want you to look forward to the end. It's now end of 2024. You're doing your year in review write-up of 2024. What's changed? What is an evolution that we're going to see in 2024 as predicted by Gamesight?
What do you got, Christian?
Here's what I think. I think that end of the year, people will probably be more sophisticated and active in looking for solutions to whatever privacy changes come down the pipeline. I mean, I know there's a lot of stuff that's kind of been bubbling up for a long time. I don't think it goes as far as making like monumental changes. I know that Google is doing some cookie deprecation. There are some things about privacy sandbox things that are coming out. Yes. I don't think that will move as quickly to make monumental changes by the end of the year. We shall see, but I think what we will see is a lot of more advertisers thinking about this in a much more proactive way. One of the things that I mentioned at the beginning is kind of this bifurcation between how different advertisers are thinking about privacy. Are we going to go lean towards more of a clean room type solution with our advertising partners, or are we going to go towards trying to own this first party relationship with our players? A lot of people are still in the middle, not thinking about that. I think we're going to see a lot more advertisers kind of pick a side there and try to choose a solution.
Awesome. Adam, any thoughts for you?
If I had to pick one, I probably would say that I think that TikTok is probably going to be the biggest growth channel. Like kind of again, it was last year, but looking at the percent of game companies that have TikTok in their marketing budgets, I think goes way up. The dollar allocation to TikTok, I also think goes way up. A variety of reasons. I think they're super aggressive in terms of investing in their business. They are actively making changes and feature requests based on partners like us and partners like many of our customers. That's great. I would say that's not always been the case for some of the major kind of advertisers in the industry. They have large businesses, and I would not say that PC console gaming is something that they prioritize as, hey, we want to make sure that we have the best advertising platform for PC and console games. I've seen that from TikTok, so I think they're going to be a huge winner. I also think just in terms of the mix of where players like to discover games, they like to see other people play them, other people talk about them. TikTok usually a really fast way of doing that and a quick way of going, oh, this thing look cool, let me check it out.
Right.
I also think there'll be some upgrades in terms of the flows. Like you sort of mentioned the flow you use, which you think is bad but still works. I think by the end of the year, there will be a much better flow that works even better, that will cut out some percent of that kind of drop that you're used to seeing. So that would probably be my biggest, and I'll call it winner change from now to this time next year.
And the TikTok hat trick, 3 years of maximum growth. Cool.
Now
Awesome.
it's harder, right? You know, bigger baseline to grow off of.
Yeah,
It does.
large numbers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Let's get harder.
Well, we're just about out of time. Christian, Adam, thank you so much for joining us. If anyone wants to get a hold of either you, learn more about Gamesight, or get access to this report, how can they do that?
I'm on Twitter at Adam S. Lieb. Certainly go to our website, gamesight.io. We have support there and chat there and demo requests and all that kind of fun stuff there on the website.
I'm most
Also
active on
went through
LinkedIn, so that would just be where to find me. But yeah, we're always in the support channel, looking out for people looking for help when they're trying to measure performance of their games advertising.
Awesome. Well, also, we will link the report and the blog article and on the podcast as well.
Yeah,
Awesome.
check out the report. And we're always looking for other prompts, other things people are curious about, things that maybe weren't in that report that people would love to hear about. Always love to hear that from customers, current or potential. So ideas are welcome.
Great. Warren, take us out.
Awesome. Yeah, Adam and Kristen, it was great having you guys on. Everyone, make sure to check out Gamesight if you're doing anything in the space of PC and console marketing. The people are great. The tools are great. Definitely one of our supported providers for Upptic platform. Speaking of which, Upptic is the people that brought you the podcast today. So if you're doing anything to grow your game, if you need people to help you grow your game with user acquisition, data analysis, creative development, Web3 growth strategies, we do all that fun stuff. We love meeting teams building great games and always happy to help. You can reach us at our website. It's upptic.com. That's upptic.com. And bonus plug, if anyone in the industry is going to DICE, make sure to check out the Magic the Gathering after party side event sponsored by the Gamesight team. They will be there. I will be there, and it should be fun. What's the date of that?
It would be February 13th. It's the Wednesday night at DICE.
Awesome. And it is not yet sold out. But last I checked, some of the other DICE parties were sold out. So move fast.
Yes, and there are both casual and competitive queues. So if you just want to show up and have fun and get some cards, you can do that. And if you want to compete for big prizes, you can do that as well.
Awesome. Talk soon.